Hello, everybody. Welcome to Highway of the Hidden. I'm your host, Polar Bear. On tonight's show, we got Bodacious. Bodacious, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it, man. And we finally get to link up, and hopefully, you get to tell some of your stories that have happened to you. They're pretty frightful. They're not exciting. They're very frightful, but hopefully, bring some awareness to people out there.
Yeah.
So, before we start that, man, tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Navajo. I'm 27. I live in the northeastern part of Arizona. I grew up there for a few years, and then I moved to Salt Lake for a couple years, and that wasn't really working. So I came back to the reservation and never left.
Yeah.
Just working on the road right now. That's where I met you.
Yeah. I met you in Reno back in 22 or 23.
I believe it was 22.
Yeah, it was. Is at the end, right? And then you actually
Yeah.
had, yeah. And then one of your encounters was actually kind of was in Reno, well, not Reno, but the little town, Lovelock.
Yeah. Lovelock.
And yeah, so all the people that know about Lovelock and the Lovelock Cave, Bodacious actually has a little encounter that happened to him. All right. So, brother, so we got you on. You've had some encounters. I reached out to you through T because T said that you had some things that you had seen, and you know, they're very, very creepy and scary that happened to you. And if you wouldn't mind, brother, jump right into your first story and lay it on us. Let's see what happened.
Well, one of the real encounters that really freaked me out was I was with my cousin brother, and on the reservation we got livestock, we got sheep, and coyotes come around a lot, so we started getting into coyote hunting, and we've done it a few times, but this one particular evening we went on a stand, set up. It was kind of a flat area, hills every now and then. We set up and we started calling like coyotes. We sat there and like two came in, and we whispered to each other, get the left, I'll get the right, ready to do a countdown. He said go. We both shot. He missed his. I got mine. Through the scope, mine dropped. He was trying to get his, so I went over and it took off running. It was like literally straight from us, so I didn't have to try and adjust myself. I just looked at it right before it went over the hill. I shot. I've seen it tumbled in my scope. We sat there, we played like a pup in distress and sat
Yeah.
there for about another 5-10 minutes, and we got up, started walking out there, check on it, see how big it was, because we usually take pictures of it. And we got to that little hill, and it was gone. It was gone, and I was like, maybe he took off running. So I started looking at his tracks to see if he left a blood trail, and I noticed the tracks. There was like an arm. It looked like a human trip. There was an arm. There was a handprint, and then not too far there was another handprint, and then there was coyote tracks after that.
Wow.
And that freaked us out because the sun was about to go down.
Mm-hmm.
We got scared because we were kind of in a canyon where a lot of this stuff happens, is known to happen. So it scared us, and I got the chills, and I felt like something was watching us, and we just both called it quits. We went home.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. That is, yeah, like me, I'm not native, so I don't know. I know what the creature you're talking about is, and but to have that experience, man, it's kind of like, man, knowing that you hit it, and then man, whew, you give me chills. Okay, and then it crawled,
Yeah,
and then got, because that's stuff like people write about. People write books about that, and then for you to actually live it
yeah,
is something completely different. That's, oh, man. Okay, all right. Let's get to your next one.
yeah. The My next experience was so I was working in Phoenix at the time, and just to come home for the weekend, I would leave right after work, get on the road, and I was going through one of the towns on my route, and this town's small. I mean, you'll be on one end through the other within 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and it was nighttime. It was about 1 in the morning, and growing up, I was always told, when the sun goes down, not to pick up anybody
Right.
after sundown, any hitchhikers or anything. So I was driving and I noticed there was I would say it looked like a female. It looked like a female who was skinny and like a petite figure. But as I approached on the highway, they went to stick out their thumb, but they never showed their face. They just kept their back turned towards me. And I just slowly crept by, kept going. And I noticed like her jeans, her black jacket, there was a little bit of white in her shoes. I kind of noticed what she was wearing, and I just kept going. And I got through the town, I got to the other end. Like, I didn't stop. I just went straight through town. And I got to the other end of town and I seen her again. I seen her standing there and she was walking same direction. And I noticed her jeans. I noticed that little white in her shoe, like everything I noticed, and it creeped me out
Yeah.
because like I didn't stop going through town, so I knew that had to be a skinwalker or something.
Yeah, like she went the man. That's so you saw her on one end of the road, and then like you got through town or whatever, and she was right on the. So
Yeah.
what? I know that they're they're violent, right? And they'll kill you and stuff. Is that what they do, right? Or they try to take you over? Like what exactly do they? What do they? What do the skinwalkers do?
So I've never actually come face to face, like in my experiences,
Mhm.
but I was told that they just try to do like bad things, like put something in your body, get you sick.
Oh, okay.
It's usually like a family member
Hmm.
because it all leads up to like jealousy and like you have things that they don't have, or it just
Right.
stuff like that. They just try and hurt you. They try and have you get in a car accident, try to get you sick.
Mhm. Try to hurt you in some kind of way, whether it be physically, mentally, something to get you in like distress almost.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's very creepy, man. With that being said, and one thing that always like bothers me is like I know like where you're at, right, in Arizona and all that, there's skinwalkers there. And like when people say, well, they had an encounter up in like Michigan and stuff, like that doesn't make any sense. Does that make any sense to you? Like, because that, it's just something I never really understood. Like, I kind of feel like it would be seeing a Wendigo down here. Like, it's one of those things. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't. And I don't know why people would want to have the encounter anyway. I mean,
yeah.
you literally seen a guy go from a coyote back to human, back to coyote to a woman walking down the road, and she beats you to the other side of town, and she's right there again. That's some dark magic right there, man. That's some really, really dark magic. And the fact that it can be somebody in your own family that's jealous of you or something, it makes what how do they I guess like my question is how do they become a skinwalker? I know do they have to like make a deal or something? Do they have to do something evil to be put in that? Like how do they become one?
That's what I've heard. I've heard that like you learn certain stuff. Like I know medicine men
Hmm.
that do like the healers, and
Yeah.
they got a sense of it, but they don't lean towards it because in order to get like the powers or the more knowledge of, I guess you could say, the dark side, they say you gotta like kill a family member.
Yeah. You have to like offer
So
something to get something
yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
when people want to make deals with like the devil or something, they have to sacrifice somebody to get to that next level in life, whether it be wealth, fame, fortune, whatever they want. You have to. It's I guess trading an evil deed for another evil deed is
yeah.
basically what it sounds like. Yeah, man, that's intense, brother. That's so intense. Okay, all right, we're only on encounter number two, so that's intense. Okay, all right, brother, go ahead.
The next encounter was like same thing, late in the night, coyote hunting. Well, we were spotlighting. We just do it out of the truck,
Mhm.
drive around to the spotlight, and there's this canyon that nobody goes through or bothers at night. And we decided one night to go there.
Yeah,
We're like, feeling brave, and we just decided to go through there, and we're about maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles in, and well, one thing we noticed was a small pebble was thrown at the windshield, and we thought it was my cousin brother's. We thought it was his tires, throwing rocks because he had like all-terrain tires.
yeah.
We didn't think anything of it. Kept driving. Another pebble hit the windshield, and we're like, oh, okay, something's creepy going on. But we didn't really think anything of it, and we just kept going. And we stopped on top of this little hill, and there's a wash. There's a wash that we kind of drove in for a bit, and we got out of it. And we got to the top of this hill, and at the top of this hill, you're at an angle to where you can see down the wash because it straightens out for a bit, and you can see down this wash like it's a good about half mile. It's just straight. You can see down it, and it was dark, and we started looking around with the spotlights. And usually if you see a coyote or something animal, you'll see the reflection of the eyes. So we started looking around, and we noticed a pair of eyes out in the distance, and like, oh, there's something out there. And we seen a light, like a flashlight, turn on.
All right.
I'm like, oh, somebody's down there already. And but we didn't see any vehicles or anybody around. We just sat there and watched that light, and at first it looked like it was walking in the wash, like it was walking. And my brother got out and he yelled out, "Hey!" And "Hey!" one more time, and nothing. And he whistled. He decided to whistle, and
Uh-oh.
it echoed down the canyon. And that flashlight, it just looked like it started running down the wash because you could see that light going up and down, and
Yeah.
you could slowly see it getting closer. And oh, that scared me. And we jumped in the truck, and we didn't even take the main road. We jumped down the wash and started going down the wash.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Did so it never got close though, right? It was coming though. It was full sprint
Yeah, it
towards
never
you.
got close. After we seen that, we were like, it probably wasn't your tires throwing rocks. It was probably something in the bushes,
Right.
like trying to warn us.
Stay out of the area. That's something evil's down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm like I understand. Yeah, because I have all terrains too, and they'll throw rocks every now and again, but to like hit your windshield as you're like you said where nobody really goes, and you decide, hey, we're gonna go
yeah.
coyote hunting, and then all of a sudden pebble gets thrown, and you see that light running towards you, man. That's a different kind of feeling, man. Whew. All right, and then so tell us about your fourth one.
Well, the fourth one, I was with like two other buddies. We were in my Toyota pickup, and we're I came home from a job, and we were just all trying to hang out, and we went out just cruising the back roads, and we hit this like it's like a tall hill. It's just straight up. It's part of a wash, and usually like quads or ATVs, they're the only ones playing back there.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go back there, have some fun, and we hit the hill. We went up, got about 3/4 of the way, got stuck, came back, got stuck in the sand. Man, we're about maybe about a mile and a half from the main road. So we decided to call one of our buddies to meet us, and me and one of my buddies decided to walk to the main road because it's kind of hard to describe where we were at. So we just decided to meet his friend at the highway to show us where we were at. And the third buddy, he stayed in my pickup just to stay there, and me and my buddy, we started walking to the road, and we noticed like another set of foot tracks behind us, like footsteps, like somebody was walking behind us. We turned around and started looking around. Didn't hear anything. We just kept walking, and soon the moon started coming out. We could see like a little bit better because the moonlight was out, and that little trail we're walking, like rarely faintly up ahead, you could see like a little white figure.
Mm.
You would run over this way, and then we're like, "Oh, did you see that? Did you see that?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And we'd walk, and then we'd hear it behind us again. And we were freaked out. We started like walking faster. Got to the main highway, and it just went dead silent. You could hear the crickets, but it just went silent. It went silent. We are getting freaked out. Soon the person we were meeting, he showed up, and he's familiar with the area.
Mm.
And we told him what was going on. And as we were going back to my pickup to get it out, he was telling us that near that wash, if you go further down, the wash gets deeper and the walls get higher. He said the further down, there's like Anasazi ruins.
Wow.
There's Anasazi ruins, and he said he's been in the area, and there's a little white figure that runs around and bothers you.
Oh,
He said
wow.
if you whistle, it'll whistle back at you. And we didn't believe that story until that night. We were just glad that nothing happened, that it didn't get close.
Yeah. Yeah,
So ever
because
since the night, we never went back.
right. I don't blame you. Sheesh, man. And what is the Anawazi? What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's Anasazi.
Anasazi. Okay, and what is that?
They're like another tribe.
Hmm.
They're mainly like in the southwestern part of Colorado.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The tribe, they're known to be like short. In short term, they call them small people.
Okay. I know
So
what you're talking about now. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure how long ago, but a long time ago, they were known. They like build their like ruins up in the rocks, and they're the ones that have like the petroglyphs on the rocks.
Okay. So they were around
And
a
then
long time ago.
yeah, and then all of a sudden they just disappeared. To this day, nobody knows what happened to that tribe.
Yeah. They just disappeared. Okay. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, now I remember. Okay. Yeah, they're the ones that is that is that like where you can drive and you could see like all the almost looks like homes cut out in the rocks and stuff? Is that their tribe?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember learning about that. Yeah, that's one of the great mysteries, right? Like they just disappeared, man. That's so weird, dude. And then do you see the little spirit running back and forth? That's interesting, man. That's one of those things. And so obviously, if you can whistle at it and it whistles back at you, did you think it was like
yeah.
evil, or did you think it just didn't want you there?
I think I just didn't want us there because we were, if it lived in that little area, it probably just wanted us out of there.
Yeah, I wanted you out of its home, which makes
Yeah,
sense. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, so it wasn't exactly like evil. It was just like, hey, get out of my house. What are you doing here?
yeah.
You know, you're riding your four wheeler. I guess it probably doesn't know what a four wheeler is, but yeah, it's like you're riding this metal horse back here and you're tearing everything up. Yeah, I get it. I mean, but yeah, man. And so we're to the point where we're gonna finally talk about the famous Lovelock Cave. And me and you, I remember that day we had just met. Was that the first day we met or the second day?
I think it was the second day.
Yeah, and we were sitting there because out in that job site we had no phone service, and
No.
I I remember we were talking, we were chopping it up, and I was like, "Hey, you heard of this cave?" And I think I sent you a video on it, right? Like that guy had went there or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You told me once we go back down, search this up.
yeah, because I didn't even realize what it was. I had watched the video, and then 2 weeks later, I'm in Lovelock, Nevada, and I never put two and two together until I was in that hotel room, and I'm like, the cave's here. Like the cave is here. And that's when I was like, okay, cool. And it turns out there's a lot of like stuff like that around there, apparently. Not only the cave, but you had Pyramid Lake. And if you, what was that? If it's not Silver City, it was the ghost town down past Reno. You had to go to the mountain, but it too was, they were like, oh, don't, go there, but, be prepared. It's like one house, but yeah. Tell us
Yeah.
about your Lovelock experience, man. Your Lovelock Cave experience, because I wanted to go with you, but I didn't even realize you were in the hotel, like not even 100 yards away from me, or I would have went with you all that day.
No, we were actually just right across the street from you.
Yeah, and the whole time we were talking that day, I never thought, hey, let me get his number. Like I don't think I got your number till that Monday when we came back, and then Tia told me, yeah, we
Yeah.
went to the cave, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, you gotta ask Bo about the cave, and I'm like, oh, y'all went, yeah, okay. So what happened in the cave, man?
So, well, it was sort of a last minute trip. We decided to go out to the cave because we didn't have anything planned that day, and we went out there, and it was actually a nice drive out there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dirt road all the way that led to it, well maintained, and we got out there, and the parking lot's on the backside. You got to hike a little bit.
Okay.
And, we started walking up, got to the mouth of the cave, and as soon as we got there, I just got this like numb, chilled feeling, and like something was watching me. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't be here. I kind of like that feeling.
Yeah.
I got closer and it got cold. I got closer and it got cold, and that feeling just like got worse, like a feeling like I shouldn't be there. T already said he was didn't want to go in, and I was about to go until that feeling got worse. And I grabbed my flashlight, looked in there, and it just had an ugly feeling, like we shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
So we decided not to go in there. But as I was standing there with my flashlight, it seemed like the cave was breathing. There was like a cold air. You could feel it kind of go in and then come back out and hit you. And it was interesting, but it was scary at the same time.
Yeah, it was one of those feelings, man. Is it the Paiutes, right, that are up there? Is that the right tribe?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they had the war with the red-headed giants and killed them in the cave. And
yeah,
I wanted to see it. And do you remember? They said if you look up, you can still see like the burn marks on top of the cave from where they set it on fire and killed the giants that they were
yeah.
at
It was
war with at
interesting.
the
When
time.
I turned on my light, it was true. You could actually see it.
Yeah, I wanted to see it, man. I really did. I know that in the video that guy shows, and you can like walk in, and it's kind of like a deck in it, and you can look down and see where they had dug something. And I didn't get to see it, but he went at night, and I don't know if he was doing it for views or what, but they were hearing all kinds of stuff, and they hightailed it out of there. So I mean, you had went during the day, so I don't blame you. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. Being out there at night, no, not in the deserts. No, not like that. Not in the high desert of Nevada. No, I'm good. I'm good on that one. But yeah, man, you've had some pretty scary encounters, brother. I will tell you that. Have you seen anything like cryptid-wise, like Bigfoot or anything like that? You ever across anything like that?
No, but I've heard of stories that from elders about Bigfoot and the Navajos.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories like I don't know if you're familiar with the Navajo Long Walk.
No.
So the Navajo Long Walk was some soldiers. They came to the Navajo reservation and got all the adults and the older, teenage kids and took them as prisoners, and everybody, like, the soldiers were all on horseback, and the Navajos were just on foot, and they gathered a bunch of people from the Navajo Nation and walked to Fort Sumner,
Mm.
which is over close to Roswell.
Oh, okay.
And they went out there, and the story is, they were held prisoners for, I'd say, well, a long period of time. I'm not sure exactly how long, but like a year or two, maybe longer. But after they were released, they came home and they noticed that their kids were still alive. They noticed their kids were still alive and, somewhat well maintained. And the parents would ask the kids, who took care of you, who fed you. And the way the kids described it was a tall, hairy man.
Hmm.
So, hearing that story go around, I believe in Bigfoot, but I've never actually had an encounter myself.
Yeah. I had one encounter, and we'll get into that, but just real quick. Yeah, big, and that's not the first time I've heard a story of Bigfoot actually taking care. I think it just depends on the type you run into, but actually taking care of kids. Read something a long time ago, and I want to say it was in the Carolinas or somewhere like that. But there was a little girl, and she had gotten lost for a few days, or they send a huge search party out, and they find her on like a picnic table, and she's crying, and because she's scared, and then they ask her, why are you not in such distress, almost, why, we know you're crying, but you're not like dirty or nothing. And she kept saying, the big hairy man took care of me, he wouldn't let anything near me, the big hairy. And then she was saying that, I guess, when he heard the search party, he put her on the picnic table and left, and they said, oh, the bear, you said a bear took care of you. And she said, no, not a bear, a big hairy man, he took care of me, and he protected me. And and that's why I kind of look at it as like, and I know there are some very dangerous Bigfoot encounters that happen and stuff, but I think some of them are good too. But yeah, I had a Bigfoot encounter when I was 10 years old, East Texas. If you come down to work or whatever, come to my area, I'll show you where it's at. It's about a 2 hour drive, but we can get there. And so we were deer hunting, and my dad's like, "Hey, grab me a beer." And we're in a deer blind, and behind me is just a right of way, and there's nothing but pine trees. And so I turn around to grab him a beer, and something just tells me, and I look up, and this pine tree is like coming down, like something's hanging on, like pulling it. It hits the ground, lets it go, and it takes off running. And it crossed the right of way in seconds. Being 10 years old, I didn't know what Bigfoot was. I didn't find out what Bigfoot was till a few years later, but I know what I saw, and I know what I saw wasn't human. Like, it wasn't natural. Like, we don't have bears down here. So what else would do that? We have hog and deer and bobcats.
Yeah.
So what else would do that? And but it's just one of those things. I love the Bigfoot stories, man. I really do. But yeah, anyway, back to where we were at. So yeah, I lost my train of thought. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so that's like the older Bigfoot tales that you've had from like the elders and stuff, and they've told you stuff like that. Have the elders ever told you how to like to beat a skinwalker or anything like that? I know there's certain ways, but have they ever told you?
No, they usually just tell you, don't whistle at night, don't talk about it. In Navajo, they say, leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it alone is the best way. Yeah, I believe that theory
Yeah.
too. Don't don't go poking the bear. Just let it lie. In that way. But it's just something, because I've heard watching other people's interview people from the Navajo Nation and stuff, and they say like if you know their name, you can get rid of them, and certain bones and stuff like that put together can cleanse your house and stuff and things like that. I didn't know if you had knew the same thing or could confirm it for me, because I take a lot of the stuff I read on the internet with a grain of salt. You know, especially
Yeah.
because I know you probably noticed too, like the skinwalker encounters are such a hot commodity. It's like everybody's had one. And that's what I was talking about earlier, but the encounters don't come from the Navajo Nation. They come from like other parts of the US where I don't even think they would be, you know? And
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It's like, well, you're not in the desert. You're not in the Navajo Nation. So why would the skinwalker just be cruising around coming to beat on your window in the middle of the night, you know? But yeah, man. But yeah, that's my Bigfoot encounter and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyway, anything else like you've seen or want to talk about or anything like that?
Not exactly. Well, I've had other encounters, but they're just, we've had things done like to keep it away from us. So,
Mm,
and I was told not to talk about it. So,
yeah. Okay. I hope this you talking about today doesn't like fire up a bunch of stuff.
no.
Okay, good. I know you said it's daytime, so I'm thinking so it's basically like if it's daytime you talk about it, you're cool. Just don't do it at night. Don't be
Yeah,
hanging out in the yard, just having a full blown conversation about it, kind of thing. Okay, but yeah, man. Well, I won't hold you up anymore, but we'll wrap up here. If you're good, then I'm good, brother.
good.
All right, everybody. That's it for tonight. So if you want to be on the show, shoot me an email. My email address is polarbearhoth at gmail.com. You can reach me on TikTok or Instagram, polarbearhoth, or you can check out the Facebook page, Highway of the Hidden. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bo, I appreciate you stopping by, brother.
Yeah, thank you.